Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from the Washington Free Beacon. And this is from, oh god, when is it from? And you already see probably what the article is going to be about. And that picture is from November 13th, and it says exclusive. Soros bankrolling anti-Israel drop site news. And I did a video a few weeks ago maybe on here. You can find it on there if you search for, drop site, actually, about how biased in the Israel-Gaza war this site has been. And, well, look at that. Looky, the demon himself is bankrolling it. So this drop site news claims to be reader-supported while being billionaire-funded, because, of course, isn't that the way it always goes? Into the article, it says the left-wing philanthropy funded by George Soros Open Society Foundations gave $250,000 to establish a Middle East desk at Dropsite News, an anti-Israel news startup that touts itself as a reader-supported purveyor of completely independent journalism. Whoops. It says Open Society Foundation said the grant, awarded last year, would help bridge a crucial information gap in independent journalism in the Middle East, according to its spending database. This Dropsite, founded by veteran left-wing journalist Ryan Grimm in Germany's Scahill in July 2024, has filled that purported gap with a steady stream of anti-Israel coverage of the Israel-Hamas war. Its first major story was a series of interviews that Scahill conducted with Hamas leaders aimed at providing the deeper insight into Hamas's decision to launch the October 7th attacks on Israel. It's really not difficult, guys. They just want to kill Jews. That's literally their motivation. It's actually in their charter, but, go ahead and do a whole interview with them if you want. Says the past 9 months of Israel's genocidal, it's not, war in Gaza have spurred an unprecedented global awakening to the plight of the Palestinian people, reads the opening line of Scahill's story. Unfortunately, they got the sides wrong about who was trying to do a genocide. It was actually the Gazans. Hamas was trying to do it. Again, that's all they want to do is kill Jews. Israel does not want to just kill Palestinians. In fact, they've done everything in their power, and I'm not going to go into it now, to make sure innocents aren't being killed, but it is war. Innocents, unfortunately, do get killed, and there is absolutely nothing that Israel has been doing that would even make any rational thinking human person think that they are doing a genocide. But anyway, it says Dropsite has not disclosed funding from the Open Society Foundations, of which Soros' son Alex took control in 2022. In its fundraising pitches, Dropsite requests donations through Society Security Works Education Fund, an obscure nonprofit that aims to educate the general public, media, and policymakers about the benefits of protecting Social Security benefits. The organization serves as the fiscal sponsor for Dropsite, allowing donors to make tax-deductible contributions to the outlet, which does not have tax-exempt status from the IRS. The Open Society Foundations funneled its contribution to Dropsite through the Society Security Works Education Fund, earmarked to support establishing a Dropsite News MENA, it's Middle East, North Africa, desk, it says 2-2, but I know they put the SIC there in parentheses, which means there's an error. So, to bridge a critical information gap in independent journalism. This Dropsite has provided little coverage of Social Security or any other domestic entitlement programs. Instead, its bread and butter has been coverage of the Israel-Hamas war from a decidedly anti-Israel viewpoint. Grimm, who has written for Politico, Huffington Post, and The Intercept, and there should be your problem right there, has pushed several false narratives about the war. He peddled the debunked claim earlier this year that Israel Defense Forces massacred Palestinian civilians in a food distribution site, which, by the way, was Hamas actually doing that, and he reported the false claim that White House National Security Council staffer Merav Sarin once worked for Israel's Ministry of Defense. I haven't heard about that until this paragraph right now. So the story touched off a wave of anti-Semitic attacks on Sarin, who calls from pro-Hamas groups that she should be fired. The Trump administration quickly shot down the story, stating that Sarin has never worked for the ministry. This Dropsite's Middle East desk is led by Sharif Abdel Qaddous, a reporter who works out of Egypt and New York City. At Dropsite, Qaddous wrote a dispatch from the funeral of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to get into that unless you supported them. So, tells you where that guy's priorities are. Another Qaddous story decried the killing earlier this year of Anas al-Sharif, an alleged Hamas fighter who worked for the news outlet Al Jazeera. And the outlet has criticized other journalists and news outlets for what it portrays as secretive funding from pro-Israel sources. So they're total hypocrites is what I'm getting. Says Qaddous' most recent story alleged that 16 journalists, including 2 New York Times reporters and CNN commentator Van Jones, served as mentors in a journalism program aimed at helping Israel win its information war. They're not winning, dude, so I don't know what you're talking about there. Says Jones blasted that report as totally bogus and said his only involvement in the program was a 1-hour talk to a handful of journalists. In another story, Grim and Drop site reporter Murtaza Hussain reported that the Free Press, the website started by CBS News chief Barry Weiss, had cooperated with a shadowy think tank tied to pro-Israel advocacy on a series of stories about the terrorist group Hezbollah. They just make stuff up and say this is real. As well, Drop site portrayed the arrangements as nefarious. The Free Press series disclosed the involvement of the think tank, the Center for Peace Communications. The Soros is just the latest liberal billionaire to bankroll the Drop site proprietors. Grimm and Scahill worked for The Intercept, the left-leaning outlet funded by eBay founder Pierre Omidyar until 2022. Grimm, who recently stated that no sane society would have billionaires, which is just another idiotic leftist thing to say, was paid $410,000 by The Intercept last year. Scahill made $300,000 according to tax filings. The Social Security Works Education Fund, Drop Site, and the Open Society Foundations did not respond to requests for comment. Of course they didn't, because they've been caught. And ha 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 to them for getting caught. So, there you go. So, another reason not to trust that website. And if I have to keep making videos about them, and I know I'm a super duper small channel and news probably doesn't get out there very much, I'll just keep doing it. So maybe someone somewhere will go, we shouldn't listen to these guys because they are BS. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.